Well, hello there, guys, and welcome back to a glorious episode with the Empire of the Sun. We've got 3 armies over here, and we had somebody angry in the last episode because I mentioned 4 armies. I was talking about the armies we're creating. We actually had 4, but this army merged when I did a save. I don't know why that occurred. Could be a game bug. This was actually 2 separate armies, and when we did part 2 of our series, this merged into 1. So I'm actually fine with that because they're watching our Soviet front, and it's quite a large front anyway. But in the meantime, we're bringing over these 14, and I really want to get a full 24 here in this army. I want to make this a fat army, and I want to make sure that they can really push on the enemy lines. So it's good to see that we're getting some great attacks over here as well against the Soviets, and we could certainly start pushing up north into the Soviet Union, of course, which is exactly what they don't want us to do. But I think the main focus is going to have to be, of course, Manchuria. In the meantime, though, we're going to go ahead and hit these other areas, and we're definitely going to try to keep improving our military. It's pretty good, but obviously it could always be better, and especially since we're carrying out the attack on these units right here, we want to make sure that we can beat these Soviet units without too much work. So it looks like they've replaced Voronovsky, and they put Tukachevsky in power. I'm not sure if that's because they're losing men or because they've added another army to this area. That could definitely be the case. Okay, let's see. This new army we want to refresh or reform, but before we do, we're going to go ahead and just finish off the rest of the Soviet troops over here in this area, Ivan Konyev. And then we're going to cut up north, and of course we will basically cut west, or cut north, excuse me, through Shaanxi and then into Mongolia with this army. Let's go ahead and see if we can drop a few more units. Gotta wait a little longer, but somebody suggested we go ahead and keep building units, and you know what, they're probably right. We can add another unit over here and increase the number of training divisions. We can also create some Kihei Shidan, so I'm actually going to edit this unit. They've got some heavy tanks in here. I want to add a light tank unit, and I also want to add another light tank unit, and maybe some more cavalry. Maybe we can add some support. Let's add some engineer support. Let's add some maintenance support. We don't have maintenance yet. Support artillery and anti-air support, and maybe even a recon company. We'll also go ahead and see if we can add another motorized company there. That's a hell of a division. Of course, we're going to be out of the resources. We're going to have to build more, and that's anti-air divisions. We don't have an anti-air factory yet, so we shall purchase it. There we go. Let's go ahead, and of course, we're still going to have to build it. This is going to take a while, and each bit of land we take is giving us more land for which to build our factories. We've got to keep that in mind. In fact, I prefer if the guy's attacked over here, so I'm not going to hit that unit, but what I might do is hit this guy. For the Empire of the Sun! So a pretty good attack there. We're still fighting the Soviets here. And they are on search and destroy missions. Let me actually select this guy. I want this guy on convoy raiding missions. So I really want to hurt the enemy as much as I can, but it looks like we're beating them badly in these naval battles, which is awesome. And the reason we joined the Axis, well, we really didn't have a choice. Once the Soviets declared war on us, we needed somebody in our corner. That somebody was going to be the Axis. We can still leave the Axis eventually and form our own faction, but right now that's just the route we're taking. Sort of like when we started playing with the USSR. You know, we started as pretty peaceful with the Allies, and eventually we became their worst enemies. So it's very similar to what we're trying here. I'm going to go ahead and keep attacking here behind the enemy lines. In fact, we're going to try to cut through all the way to that dock. I don't know how far we'll make it. No, we're not going to make it very far. They're going to go ahead and attack us right away. So we'll defend this area and let the enemy basically just throw his divisions against this area and lose men, which is great for us. And we're going to keep attacking. He can't fight by himself, but maybe with some support we could actually beat the enemy in that area. And these Marine units are very, very tough. They're going to do some serious damage to the Soviets over here. I don't think the Soviets know what they got themselves into, and hopefully they'll realize that, because what we really need to do, we need to make them hurt for what they've done here. Let me go ahead and take this area too. In fact, I should have sent both of these guys over here. It's a bit too late now because they've joined the attack, but this area is actually really badly, doing really badly. We also got our support weapons almost. I can't wait for the support weapons. That's like my favorite thing. The same with the improved infantry equipment. We need both of these. We want to do everything we can to improve our infantry divisions. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. But right here, we're overrunning the division completely. Let's actually take a look at the casualties right now. 116,000 dead on our side, which is believable. 73,000 dead on the Soviet side. We definitely want to go ahead and increase the casualties on the Soviet side while decreasing those on our side, obviously. But it's definitely a goal we want to focus on heavily. Let me actually take these guys. I'm going to create the army now just so they can start training. So I'm going to put Yamashita. No, he's going to lose. I think they're all going to lose stuff because we're going to promote them. So let's put Yamashita here in control of this army, and we just want them to train for now. And we'll call it Army of Imperial Glory. We're going to be adding more divisions here, guys, so don't worry. I want to get 24 total in that army right there. And as somebody mentioned, we have plenty of room, here we go, to build more and more divisions. So we're going to do that for sure. And we also want to go ahead with our Hoihei Shidan. They've already seem pretty great, but we want to add some more stuff to them. So let's go get them some mountaineers, especially since they're going to be fighting in China. Maybe some military police. This is going to increase HP, defense, breakthrough. Just basically everything goes up, and it even increases manpower a little bit. So I think that's definitely worth it. Let's get some support artillery, and maybe another light tank unit. Go ahead over here. We might as well get some more mountaineers, and maybe some more artillery as well, and anti-tank. This is gonna be a really strong unit. But we're gonna have to save it for 55. Get a heavy tank over here for 65. It's gonna be an expensive one, but I think it's gonna be worth it. And of course, we're gonna have to get the actual materials to build that. But every day that goes by is a day closer to more factories across the country, and that's where we're gonna be getting our victories from. So nice. They are getting their supplies, and certainly they'll be getting more of those supplies when they actually get over here. Right now, they don't have a front line, but we're gonna give them that front line very soon. Bit risky. We're gonna go for it. Oh! Banzai! We could send everybody for this attack and just cut off this large group right here. That would be absolutely awesome. But doesn't look like that's gonna occur. Let's instead turn our attention over here. In some areas, the Soviets are putting up a decent fight, but not in all of them, of course. We'll go ahead and hit this unit. And we got the Army Innovation. Let's take a look. So we could demand French Indochina, but I'm concerned because that could start a war with France. But then again, I don't think I even want to try that. So for this, we would need to sever our ties to found our faction. We don't want to do that yet. Right now, we want to finish off the war with the Soviets. Afterwards, we could consider leaving the Axis and creating our own faction. So we're not going to go ahead and increase anything over here on this side. We don't want to do that. We don't want to strike the USA either. So let's go ahead. Let's reinforce the Soviet border. We should have probably done this before, since we're at war with the Soviets. But that's all right. Just a little later than expected. And hopefully this really will reinforce the Soviet border. Hopefully it's not just saying that. Looks like even the NKVD are fighting on this front line against our glorious soldiers. Okay, let's send these guys over. And they're pretty green, so once I send them over, I'll have them join this army, and they will commence their training. These guys, as you can see, we pulled them out of training really quick because we wanted to get them into the fight. So we're basically training them in the field. And actually, we're going to be one over on our divisions, which, hey, works out beautifully for me. I don't mind that one bit. No enemy ships messing with our transports. It's beautiful. Let's go ahead and right-click over here in this army. And now, that's what the proper army looks like. I want to select all and make sure that they're all training. There we go. So let's make sure that we get these noobs to train. And I guess while they're training, they could probably get on a front. So let's go ahead and start setting them up over here on the Mongolian front, only because taking Mongolia is going to be a nasty surprise for the Soviets. It really is. You know, they use Mongolia as basically a puppet, a buffer state, you know, to keep Japan away. Without Mongolia in the way, it's not going to be very useful. Of course, once our guys get there, we'll have to stop the training. But while they're going, I'm going to have them training because they don't have any real experience. And they're probably going to have to just hang out on the front line, watch the veterans in action, and learn on their own little by little because they can't do anything right now. There's no way. Grab these thick troops right here, and I think we can cut through this area right away. And just want to hit these mountain areas where there are still annoying units of Soviet and possibly even Maoist Chinese troops still fighting in this region. So we're going to go ahead and crush them if we can. But fighting in the mountains is not easy, even though we do have a lot of mountain troops. Okay. And of course, we could keep building units. We have plenty of manpower. That is something that someone pointed out. And each time we take more areas, we're getting more manpower. We're also getting more manpower because of the fact that we have increased our actual ability to have an army. We've increased our, what's it called? Our recruitment. So let me go ahead to these Chutoshi Shidan. I want to go ahead and create some new units here. So I'm going to make these guys into some mobile battalions with some cavalry as well as some mountain troops. So that seems perfect for fighting enemies in the mountains. I would think so anyway. I might be wrong. So let's get them also a light tank. Shit. That's what I hate about not saving. We also want to get support to these guys. So artillery. And let me also give them support. We want to give them engineer company. I love the engineer companies. Not as much as I love the maintenance companies. Recon. Support artillery. Support AT. Support anti-air, I should say, and support AT. I think that's pretty damn good. And let's go ahead and create some Chuton Chi Shidan. We're going to have to go down and go ahead and set a location for them. They're going to start here in the north of the country. Well, the center of the country, I should say. It's not the north at all. Okay, so these guys are getting here on the border. I'm not going to mess with them yet. I'm not going to attack with them yet. I might attack over here. This is just going to get us closer to Ulaanbaatar. But as for the guys right there on the front, I'm not going to mess with them. They are training, and they obviously have a lot to learn. So let's leave them where they are and hope they do well. Also, these guys are, okay, good. They're still providing us support in Manchuria. I want some of them coming to the central steppe, which a lot of them are doing here. Even you, fighter. Wow, look at all that land we've taken. I'm hoping we're going to be in Mongolia very soon. Now, this is Terauchi's army. And we're going to have to redraw a line for him, because the reason that these guys are losing supplies is because they've moved forward so much. They're going to need to go ahead and draw a new front line, which is good. It's a good sign. But we're still continuing our attack, so we've got to be careful. Select all. Go. Here we go. All right. Oh, and this is also because our other army is training. So we don't want to stop Terauchi's training yet, really. Some of these are, no, they're all noobs. But they're getting close to getting out of noob territory, so I'm going to leave them like that for now. I think that's alright, and once we can actually attack with these troops, the results are going to be unbelievable. Because these guys are going to be well-trained, they're going to be in the majority. Yes, we're actually beating the Soviets in terms of the majority here on this front. And if we can keep that up, obviously, it's going to go very well for us. So the first thing I want to do is definitely push ourselves across the river here. We're on this side of the river, that's a good thing. We want to make sure the enemy doesn't push us back. That would be a bad thing, of course. Let's go ahead, send these guys in. We could send this guy in as well. He's trying to go back and re-equip a few units, which makes sense, but we want to cut through and take this next city, Khabarovsk. heavy defense here, incredibly. Very heavy defense. We're going to cut north. Still try to cut the enemy off here. I think that's going to be the key, really. Try to get to Shiyuan. And let's see how our army's coming out. They're training. They're training. It's going to take a while, but they are training, and that's good. Also got a Mountaineer division here. This guy is made specifically for fighting in the mountains. I love it. So let's really make this a heavy mountain division. Get some artillery. Anti-tank. Even get some infantry, but mostly Mountaineers. Maybe some Marines. And I want to make sure they have military police here. Some recon companies. Some support arty. And an engineer company, of course. Let's go ahead and save that. So we're really increasing the ability of these divisions to be effective. Let's go ahead. We're going to train them as well. Recon say. Wait a minute. What the hell? There we go. So we're actually building multiple units for that Rikunsai division, that mountain division, because I think we need it. I think those mountain fighters are going to be very useful in our wars. Alright. Let's see how our training is going. These guys should not be training, so let me make sure. They're not trained, but they're not doing very well in terms of their... Let's try that. In terms of their resources. And it could just be because of the terrain. I'm not sure. But we'll soon find out. We're not missing any resources as far as I can tell. I see what the problem could be. Since they've all been hanging out in China, fighting communist China, of course, a lot of them are going to be moving up here for the first time, and hopefully, even though there is winter going on right now, they're going to be able to get those resources back. I really hope so. Looks like the enemy's already trying to make some pushes through here, but it's not going to work. Our Hohei Shidan are definitely going to be able to hold out. But we do have to consider stopping the training for these guys pretty soon. As you can see, it's going to give them a minus 25% experience modifier if they go to war untrained. That's not good. But I think for now, since we are being attacked, we might have to stop the training just for a little bit. I'm going to let you guys decide, because there's still a lot we could do here. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Glory to the Empire, and let's hope that victory continues. Take care. Have an awesome day.